A reading from the Gospel of Luke. Jesus said, "Just as it was in the days of Noah, so too it will be in the days of the Son of Man. They were eating and drinking and marrying and being given in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark and the flood came and destroyed all of them. Likewise, just as it was in the days of Lot, they were eating and drinking, buying and selling, planting and building. But on the day that Lot left Sodom, it rained fire and sulfur from heaven and destroyed all of them. It will be like that on the day that the Son of Man is revealed. On that day, anyone in the housetop who's on the housetop who has belongings in the house must not come down to take them away, and likewise anyone in the field must not turn back. Remember Lot's wife. Those who try to make their life secure will lose it, but those who lose their life will keep it. I tell you, on that night there will be two in one bed, one will be taken and the other left. There will be two women grinding meal together, one will be taken and the other left." Then they asked him, "Where, Lord?" He said to them, "Where the corpse is, there the vultures will gather." Well, alrighty then. On this Friday, we are reminded that Advent is just around the corner, sort of peeking out at this time of year. Advent, that season in the church where we become aware again that we are living in the in-between times, that we celebrate that Christ has come into the world, but that we know that we await the fullness of the kingdom of God. We await the coming and the coming again of Christ. You'll hear that in all the Advent hymns if you pay attention. It can kind of pass us by, and I think the average Christian doesn't go around thinking about this question, which is the Pharisees have asked, when is the kingdom of heaven coming into its fullness? When will we see the Son of Man? And Jesus says that this whole apocalyptic vision is painted by Jesus, not by some latter day apocalyptic fantasist, but this is Jesus speaking here, and Jesus telling the Pharisees, when they ask, when can we see the fullness of the kingdom of God, this is Jesus' answer. He says the Son of Man will come, and when that happens, it will be as sudden and unexpected as any other place where there's been an inbreaking of divine action. And so it's hard to know what to do with this message of Jesus. It sounds vaguely threatening, and it's hard to sort of hear the good news in it, except that we understand what Jesus is telling us is that there are signs, and this is probably why the Pharisees were asking, right? Did they see signs? And I think most of us will say, and we've certainly said in recent years, if not all the time, but like, is this the end? We've heard about, is this the end of our democracy? Is this the end of our civilization? Is this the end of the world coming with the stewardship of our creation? Many questions rumbling for us about where are we headed, not only as a church, as a society, even as a global society. What's going on and what's the end game? And Jesus is saying there is an end to all of this. There is an end, and the longer and broader proclamation that we have heard from Jesus is that the end of all this, the telos, the goal, the end of all of this is that all of creation will be gathered in God's loving arms. That is the ultimate destination of all of us. And this promise of a time where the Son of Man will come and bring sudden resolution and change or gradual, we don't know what it looks like, but that there is a time, Jesus says, as he's speaking on earth, as the beginning of that incarnation and the inbreaking of the kingdom of God, he says there will be a disruptive time where there is a reordering of all that is. Hard to know what to do with that. Hard, as I said, hard to feel maybe good on the surface about that, but to seek the deeper truth. And in fact, anytime that there is a deeper truth involving God, involving Jesus, involving you and me as people of God, At the base of it is love and joy and the fulfillment of all things. And that can only be good news. So how do we live in the meantime? Do we just throw all the cards up in the air and say, well, sometime, somewhere, this is all coming to an end, so what's the point? No, Jesus says, living lives every day, with an awareness that there is an end to this. There's not only an end for each one of us as mortal beings, but there's an end to all of this. End in the sense of finite and end in the sense of goal. This whole project of creation, God's creating us, sustaining and redeeming us, this is part of God's action, drawing all things unto God's self, reconciling everyone to one another and to God. So we are taking our part in that. And we, I think, are invited to live each day, as Jesus says, the ones, live your life, remembering that there have been these other instances where suddenly time comes to an end, and we're timed to come to an end for you and me, and for us as a society, for us as a church. Let it be at a moment where we'll be feeling delighted that this is the moment, the snapshot in time when this event happens, however it is that it happens. So may God be with you in your ponderings. If you have insight, please call me up and let me know. But in the meantime, we all move forward together in the knowledge that Christ will come again, and that when Christ comes again, that ultimately that fulfillment draws us into the ultimate union with Christ and with one another. And we can give thanks for that. May God be with you on this day, and may God bless you and keep you this day and always. Amen.